Welcome back from Coverciano. New updates for Italy national team as the Azzurri prepare for the game against Norway and Moldova. It was an interesting day, not just because of Donnarumma's press conference, not just because of today's training, which is currently ongoing, unfortunately open just for the opening 15 minutes to the media, but also because Matteo Gabbia was officially left out of the squad because of an injury and replaced by Daniele Rugani of Juventus, but he spent the last season on loan at Ajax, and Rugani hasn't played for the national team since 2018. The biggest issues for Luciano Spalletti are in defense, because Riccardo Calafiori was already injured before the squad was released last week. Alessandro Buongiorno of Napoli was forced to pull out because of an injury from which he hasn't yet recovered. Francesco Acerbi, as you know from the previous video as well, has refused to play for the national team because he doesn't feel part of Luciano Spalletti's project, and so there is little options in defense. Before leaving the training session, I saw Gatti of Juventus, Federico Gatti and Giovanni Di Lorenzo training with the rest of the team, so they are expected to be available for the game against Norway, which is played on Friday. And tomorrow there will be one last training session here at Coverciano, press conference in Oslo, and of course a big preparation for a game which Spalletti has already described as the most important in the group, because it's against the toughest opponent in Group I for the Azzurri, and against the team Norway of Erling Haaland, who have already gained 6 points in the opening 2 games. It's the debut for Italy, and they must avoid defeat first of all, but a win of course would be a massive boost to start this World Cup qualification journey. So we're talking about the updates. The first one was from Matteo Gabbia, who's not part of the team. I just saw one possible 11 fielded by Spalletti against Italy are currently playing against an under-18 Fiorentina squad. So one line on one field there was the team training on tactics from open play, and on the other side, on the other pitch, there was another half of the team training on set pieces and corners. So the team training from open plays was composed of Meret in goal. There was Gatti, Rugani and Ranieri, the 3 defenders. Cambiaso, Barella, Frattesi and Ricci were the midfielders with Doggy. The left wing back, Giacomo Raspadori and Matteo Retegui in attack. This is not the possible starting lineup of Italy against Norway. It was just one lineup tested by Luciano Spalletti today. It could be the starting lineup. I still see Alessandro Bastoni starting. I still see Federico Di Marco starting as a left back in place of Destiny Udogi, even if Udogi's physicality could actually be pretty useful for Italy against a very physical side like Norway. I still see Sandro Tonali starting perhaps over Frattesi in central midfield. What we should surely expect from Italy national team is trying to keep the possession more than Norway. It's something that Di Lorenzo, Spalletti and Donnarumma, who have had press conferences in Coverciano these days, have highlighted all the time they spoke with the media. We must keep the ball. They said it many times, so this is what we must expect from the Azzurri. Try to keep the ball as much as possible and try to keep Norway far from our box as much as possible, because we have problems in defense. Buongiorno is not available, Calafiori is not available. Francesco Acerbi, as you saw in the previous video, refused to play for the national team, and he later explained that he doesn't feel part of Spalletti's project, so he doesn't want to play for Italy, at least at this stage, although I don't think he's going to come back to play for Italy ever again. So, I mean, the big target will be keep Haaland and his teammates in attack far away from our goal and try to keep possession as much as we can and try to stress them out with crossfield passes, with short passes as well in the middle of the park. We need to dominate possession. We need to keep the ball longer than they do to at least not lose this game, but a win would be absolutely vital, especially for the for the mentality, and to start on the right path, to start this path on the right way. Gigi Donnarumma's press conference. It was today. It was really interesting. It was the first time he spoke to a wide range of Italian reporters since winning the Champions League just a few days ago against PSG, against Inter with PSG, obviously. And it was interesting what he said, especially about the Champions League. He said, I couldn't fully enjoy this victory because it was achieved against players that I see as my brothers. And he was referring, of course, to the Inter players. There are many Inter players in this Azzurri squad: Barella, Frattesi, Di Marco, and Bastoni. Acerbi, as you know, is not part of the squad, although he was supposed to. And again, he said, I couldn't fully enjoy it. We haven't really spoken about what happened in the Champions League final with the other guys, but they hugged me very warmly after the game in Munich the other night, and it's something that it really makes me happy, because it proves how united, the Azzurri squad are, and the Italy players are. Another interesting quote. I already mentioned what he said about Norway, what he said about the tactics that Italy should have. Another interesting thing is about his future, because Donnarumma's agent, Enzo Raiola, was spotted at the Inter headquarters in Milan today, just a few minutes before the press conference began here in Coverciano. So he was asked straight away, probably even during the meeting between his agent and Inter executives, what was the reason behind this visit to Inter headquarters. But Donnarumma said, I didn't even know he was visiting Inter headquarters. He was talking to them, but I want to stay at PSG. I'm happy here. It's my first choice, and I want to stay here as long as possible. I hope I can renew my contract. We remember that his contract expires in June 2026, so less than a year left, pretty much a year left in his contract, and negotiations have been ongoing for several months. But his very first option is to stay at PSG. He said he misses Italy and Serie A clearly, but he sees himself at PSG for a few more years, and then perhaps in the future he could return to Serie A. He spoke really highly of Luis Enrique, who led PSG to the first ever Champions League trophy and to the treble in 2024-25. He said that thanks to Luis Enrique, I've improved a lot. I have a better mentality. I handle the pressure in a better way. I'm more focused. And so there were really words of praise from Donnarumma for his PSG coach Luis Enrique. And of course, being the Italy captain, Donnarumma did talk about the Acerbi situation as well. And he said that everyone takes decision and takes responsibilities. So it again, pretty similar to De Laurentiis. He said it was something very similar. He said it's something personal, so whoever makes decision takes the responsibility from these decisions as well. At the same time, he said whoever comes here must be fully motivated and must be ready to give his best for the national team, because we want to qualify for the World Cup and we want to qualify all together. One last message was for the Azzurri fans, and following the criticism after the elimination against Germany in the Nations League quarterfinals a few months ago. He said, I read a few things that I didn't really like. This is still from the Donnarumma press conference, because this is a young team. We give our all, we do our best to achieve the best results for Italy national team, and so it was a little bit unfair to read so much criticism against this team. Donnarumma expects the fans to still support Italy, to not be negative and back them really, especially against the game against Norway, because Donnarumma said we want to go to the World Cup and we want to go all together. Tomorrow, a new day of training training session and then flight to Oslo and press conferences from Norway. Friday, it's a key game for the Italy qualifiers for the club for the 2026 World Cup. So stay tuned for more updates. This was all I had today from Coverciano. Subscribe to my channel. Thanks for following me until now, and we'll speak very, very soon.